In my previous video, I covered the new Ozone 11 Clarity module. Go check that out first if you haven't already. And I complained that it only went as low as 300 Hz, leaving me wondering why they did this. Well, thanks to viewer Bill Podolak for pointing out that Ozone Low End Focus takes care of the 20 to 300 Hz range. In my COVID haze, I forgot to check the rest of the modules, and now that I've spent some time with it, I can say it's actually a little different than Clarity in some very intriguing ways. But first, please like and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, there's a link to my Patreon below. Plus, you can get awesome plugin deals at Plugin Boutique with my affiliate link, and head over to paleblue.ca for freebies. So when I reviewed Ozone Clarity, I mentioned that it works by splitting up the signal into separate FFT bins, which represent the frequency ranges, and then it adaptively contours them towards a flat noise response. Now looking at low-end focus, I assumed it's the same thing, but simply restricted to up to 300 Hz. But after reading up on it, I'm not so sure. The manual is shy about saying exactly how the internals work, but there are some important differences. Let's take a look at each feature and see how to improve your bass. Initially, this looks just like Clarity. We have a spectral analyzer display with handles that restrict the effect processing boundaries. But low-end focus also offers two processing modes, Punchy and Smooth. And Izotope says that Punchy is best for accentuating more percussive low-end material, like kicks and snare bottoms, and Smooth is great for bringing out sustained notes like 808 basses and traditional bass guitars. It defaults to Punchy, so let's start with that. To get things started, you can just raise the gain. The manual says this is simply makeup gain, but clearly some processing is already occurring. It sounds nice. I'm already thinking this could be a great replacement for Waves R bass if you're thinking of leaving waves. But let's unleash the real features. The contrast button is the real big deal here. What this does is increase or decrease the difference between the low-level content and high-level content. What does this mean? Basically, low-end focus can adjust the difference between the quieter parts and the louder parts of the signal. When you're in the negative, it's boosting the quieter parts, similar to low-level upwards compression, like you get with the famous OTT compression. So on the way up, it's contrasting the difference between the high peaks and the low signal. This is a very powerful feature. You can sneak into a final mix and adjust not only the general bass level, but the entire feel of the low-end activity. Let's check it out. So now that we raised the contrast, not only do we have a richer low end, but the kick and attack of the bass are becoming more prominent. This is great for getting more punch into a mix, and it sounds quite natural. If you crank it up to 100, you can hear some artifacts. So it's always best to use just enough of the processing with an effect like this. It seems like you can get away with about the 50 to 70 range until you hear artifacts. Here's where it gets interesting. Lowering contrast decreases the difference between the high and low levels, much like saturation or analog compression. This can be great for gluing the low end together or taming transient elements. That's a nice subtle effect. I like how the low end feels thick and together. The kick drum still has punch, but feels connected to the bass more, and the bass feels smoother. It's very nice. I'd probably stick with this setting for the song. I feel like this plugin is powerful enough just in punchy mode, but there's also smooth mode. Let's try it on this song. So this is interesting. This is the smooth mode, which works better on sustained notes, but you can still increase the contrast between the high and the low level, or decrease it for a more compressed sound. Again, I can see reaching for this for a more glued together, cohesive low end. Another great feature is you can audition the process signal with the solo button here. And you can drag these sliders to change the frequency range, or you can drag the sliders in unison by dragging in the empty area. Great for sweeping frequencies. This can help you find the area you want to enhance, like say the kick drum. And if that's not enough, you also get the standard Ozone 11 processing choices now. You can apply low-end focus to the mid or mono signal, or to the side or stereo signal. But what's really interesting here is that you can apply processing to just the transient signal, or the sustained signal, or both at the same time. This is fascinating because low-end focus already works with the low-level and high-level signal with the contrast slider. But this means you can apply more contrast to just the transients, or the sustained part of the signal, giving you even more control over shaping your mix. If we solo each section, you can hear how it's splitting the signal. So on the transient side, we're getting mostly the attack of the kick and bass guitar. A little bit of the guitar and some other elements that are in the lower range too. Then when we solo the sustained side, we hear the longer notes of the bass guitar, almost like a ducked sidechain signal. So we can do things like bring up the attack on the bass and smooth out the kick, or bring up the contrast on the sustained side perhaps. The possibilities are endless here, but could really help rescue a weak mix at the mastering stage. Well, I'm really impressed with Ozone Low End Focus. I actually find this to be more powerful than Ozone Clarity, since it gives you more options for shaping the sound and gets dramatic results quickly. Ozone 11 provides a wealth of spectral correction plugins now, and this goes to the top of my list. I'll be using this often during mixing and mastering. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and use my Plugin Boutique affiliate link to get great plugin deals. Until next time, mix well.